Have you walked into a wine store and purchased a wine based only on its eye-catching label? If you love art, did you choose a label with a modern or traditional artwork design? If you love funny memes or sayings, did you choose a label with either of those? Sometimes the label can even inspire travel or harken a memory. We're going to look at three eye-catching labels, then figure out how did each one of these labels speak to us. Enjoy today's Crush on This episode, subscribe to our channel, and let us know what you think in the comments.
Personally, I'm drawn to simplistic yet inspiring wine labels. I tend to also always pick a wine bottle up off the shelf and I go to the back label because that's where I find that there's a lot of stories. And what I like about wine is that it's often connected to a story. Today I chose from the Okanagan Crush Pad. This is Freeform Vin Gris. And the most cool thing about this label is the paper is made out of reclaimed limestone and recycled concrete.
Wow.
Crazy.
Cool. I've never heard of that.
I know. It's fabulous. So Andrew Van Rossen, who's the creative director and co-owner of Town Hall Brands, discovered this stone paper concept and brought it to the Okanagan Crush Pad, which they were like, absolutely, we need to use that because Freeform is a completely minimal, like no intervention winemaking approach. This is made with 100% Pinot Noir, organic Pinot Noir grapes, native yeasts, unfiltered. It's like herbal, basil, pineapple, cream. Like it's one of the most delicious wines I've tried in a very, very long time. And the art, so you said about art, right? The inspiration was, the artist is Scott Sumi, and he took that inspiration away from the unique features of Okanagan and the glacial, what the glacial retreat left behind with our Lake Okanagan up there. And it was just kind of, you know, when I see this label, I take a double look because it is so minimalistic, it is so clean, and it just draws me in. It's not in your face, and because it's not in my face, I truly love that about it. And this is like a revolutionary product that goes hand in hand with this environmental, sustainable approach to winemaking. And making these labels actually requires no water, no air, no dyes, no bleach, no acid. No trees or water are even used making this.
Gosh.
So
wow.
And 1 ton of stone paper saves 20 trees and 60,000 liters of water. So bravo for the Okanagan Crush Pad, and this wine inside this label is amazing.
So basically you're saying that it looks good and it's good for you.
And it tastes delicious.
I could have that wine all day long. I love that. That's a great story, Christine. And you know, one thing that we've all looked at is that almost 50% of consumers purchase their wine based on the label. So this is it's a huge thing to kind of unravel, don't you think? Allison, what did you choose?
Well, absolutely. And I agree because, you know, I'm with what Christine said, that I look for information. I want to know the vintage. I want to know I want to know the grapes. And if there's a cool story, that's great. But put it on the back label and draw me in with a really cool label. And that's perfectly fine. And so I've got here in my glass a wine that is a blend of 50% Tempranillo, 33% Grenache, and 17% Syrah. And it's this kind of like deep fruit wine, and it comes with the name Same Deep Water as You. This is from Bouchon Vintage Company, and they're in Paso Robles. Isn't that a pretty, pretty, pretty label?
Beautiful. I love it.
So, what I love about this label and the whole story is that Jason Bouchon, who's the owner and winemaker, is also a collector of high quality vintage audio equipment and vinyl records. And if you go to his tasting room in downtown Paso Robles, like he has got an album, a vinyl collection that spans the like entire wall. And so you go in there for a wine tasting and you can pick your songs. And so music has really been an inspiration behind some of his labels. So this one, Same Deep Water as You, was inspired by a tour poster for an Icelandic band called Sigur Rós. What is really cool about this is he contacted the artist who did the gig poster, Alex Wetza, and he asked him to create the label. So if you Google the band Sigur Rós, you will find a tour label that looks exactly like this. But what's also cool is I have a few of his other wines here, and this was the cool thing is when I visited his winery, like I liked so many labels, I couldn't decide which wines I wanted to bring home with me. It was like, that's a cool one. So he has this one called Power, Corruption, and Lies. And for New Order fans, you might recognize this because this is the artwork by Peter Seville, who did the label of their album, Power, Corruption, and Lies. And it's actually based on an 1890s painting, A Basket of Roses, by French painter Henri Fontaine-Latour. And then another one that I just had to share was his Ananda. Again, like super cool. This means, Ananda means joy or bliss in Sanskrit. And he named this after the vineyard where he buys the Pinot Noir, and it's by the Pacific Ocean. And it conjures up a one with the universe. And so this kind of gives you that feeling. So what I think is just cool is that you can be walking through a store or even a winery tasting room and just look at a label and it draws you in. And then afterwards you go, oh, what's the grape in it? Oh, and then it starts to make sense. Pinot Noir, soothing and calm. Grenache and Tempranillo, bigger, more robust, power, I love labels. I think they're just fun. And then you can display them behind you.
Yeah, like you are right now, all those labels. I love it. Well, this was great. Now my wine, I've only got one. I only have one wine, but this really spoke to me. It is, and we were talking about the stories. The label is almost like the cover of a book. And it just draws you in. But look at this. It's a cava from Spain. Paul Chanot, Lady of Spain, brewed cava. It's only $12. And having been to Madrid, and I went to a flamenco show, and the woman that I saw was exactly like the woman on the label. I think it's beautiful. It's striking. It's graphic because, again, Christine, it's simple. I mean, it's colorful. It's simple. And I love the fan. I did a little fan research. So when someone is holding the fan in front of their chest and the outside, the detail is facing you, it means yes. So if you have a fan and you just want to yes, you just wave that fan right there in front of your chest. Love it. Paul Chanot is French. And so it's very elegant. This cava is very elegant. It's, low 12% alcohol, made from the three grapes that are generally in cava from Spain. It's pastry, fruit, balanced, refreshing, like snappy, just really great. But what I love about it is you've got that elegant and you've got that Spanish flair all into one glass of wine. And I just love it. It really draws you in. So
that label is so beautiful. It is simple, but it's bold.
Yeah, it really does. It sticks out on the shelf and you go, I want to see what's going on.
Well, and especially because it's going to be in the sparkling wine section. And so when you walk by and you see all these traditional label after label, and then that pops, not just
exactly,
color, but you look at it going,
exactly.
What is that? I want to know more. That's a gorgeous, cool
great choice.
Yeah, and only $12. I mean, how great is that? So anyway, this was fun. I love checking out these labels. I can't wait to go back to the store and check more out. May not have as many as you, Allison, behind me, but I'm going to do my best. So we've looked at what's on the label and shared our three wines that talked to us and inspired us to choose the bottle. So it's your turn. Find a catchy label and let it talk to you. Leave a comment about what your catchy wine label spoke to and what it is and how you felt about it and what drew you in. And then subscribe to Crush on This for more. We'd love to have you part of our team. All right.
Cheers.